Okay, so 15.1, the thing we did last time was that relative frequency, where we were, it was something more practical. It was like you go and do an experiment and see what happens when 100 cars go by, and you go and note how many of those cars were red. Let's go and say 20 out of 100 will be red. You therefore go and conclude that 2 out of 10, 1 out of 5 cars are red, and then you go and use that to estimate something about the future. So you could then go and estimate for the next 1,000 cars how many of them are going to be red. So that's what, if you just look at the bit at the top and the right, that's what we did for the last couple of lessons. We were estimating probabilities from previously collected data. Now this is very similar what we're doing today, but this is more theoretical. You can actually work out the probability. Okay, so I've just amended a couple of the types of questions we'll be doing today, and I suspect you're going to rattle through these today. Okay, so let's just have a look at the question that I've just amended here. So the arrow on this spinner is equally to land on each section. The arrow is spun 40 times. How many times do you expect the arrow to land on a 3? So let's have a look. We've got 2 3s. So there's 2 ways it could land on a 3. How many numbers are there in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the probability that it lands on a 3 is 2 out of 6. Just waiting for that to come through at your end. That's 2 out of 6. Okay, bit of a lag today. Now you can simplify that, but you don't have to, but why not? Let's go and simplify that to 1 out of 3. So we're basically saying if we go and spin this spinner 1 time, the probability that it lands on a 3 is a third. Now, so that's step 1. Go and work out the theoretical probability. Step 2, we're told that the arrow is spun 40 times. So you simply take the 40 and multiply it by a third, and that's going to give you 40 over 3 times. Okay, now that's not a whole number, that's because I've gone and amended the question, but I expect you'll be getting a whole number. Okay, so that's it. So all you've got to do, step 1, work out the probability, and then if it happens 100 times, multiply it by 100. If it happens 50 times, multiply it by 50. So that's the easier type of question. So some of the worksheet has questions like that. And then something like this, there's just a bit more information to process. So again, I'll just wait for it to click through for you guys to see. So here we go. Sarah has a biased 4-sided spinner. The spinner can land on 1, 2, 3 or 4, and the probability that the spinner will land on 1, 2 and 4 is given in the table. Ryan is going to spin the spinner 60 times, work out an estimate for the number of times he should expect the spinner to land on a 3. So the first thing we're going to need to do is work out the probability of landing on a 3. So let's go and add up the other probabilities. So 0.4, add 0.35, add 0.1. So just get your calculator out and add those up. I think that's going to be 0.85, but let's just double check. That is 0.85. So the probabilities of the numbers that are already there is 0.85. Now the probabilities always have to add up to a whole. So to work out the probability of getting a 3, which I can write as a P with a 3, the probability of me getting a 3 is going to be a whole, take away those other 3 numbers, which is 0.85, and that gives me 0.15. So that probability up in the table is 0.15 because those 4 probabilities have to equal a whole. So that's step 1. I know the probability of getting a 3 is 0.15. So read the question. Ryan spins it 60 times. How many times would he expect to get a 3? You're going to do 60 times 0.15. And we get 9. So the answer will be 9 times. Now, that's it, folks. So I'm expecting lots of you to be able to rattle through today's. If you have done, can you work backwards and fill in any gaps. I can see lots of you haven't finished yesterday's. As I speak, only Isla, Lucas, Seb, Esme, and Jess have got, and Harriet and Sam have got 15 out of 15. Okay, so do today's work first, and then go back and do those, and then work your way backwards, please. Okay, just keep your cameras off just while I stop the recording.